frankly, I wanted to thank all of you for showing up like you're showing up today and showing up like you've been showing up for a long time. So I've been watching on social media and I'm like, man, black folks run? And then he invited me and I'm like, cool, we're going to be like 3 or 4 people. I don't need to get ready. I don't need to prepare or nothing like that. And I'm like, man, this many black people up at 7 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to run. It just smashing all types of stereotypes.
Yes.
And that's important. It's important for us to be pointing out that when we see a black person running, that when we see our allies running with us, that it's more than just going for a hike. It's more than just getting our blood flowing. It's an announcement of our humanity. It's an announcement that we belong and that we refuse to be proud. And that's going to take an awful lot more than a little bit of pink paint to be able to keep us quiet. It's going to take an awful lot more than a bunch of pink paint to keep us from being out on the streets and demanding that not only does Black Lives Matter, but Black liberation matters. That liberation matters for us, liberation matters for our allies, and liberation matters for each and every single human being that comes into this world. And so when he asked me to speak, I said, okay, I'll come out and speak. I'm not going to prepare anything, but I got notes. But I got notes. He mentioned the trial of the 3 white murderers who hunted down Ahmaud. And a lot of us have been asked the question, like, was that justice? Do we feel like we achieved justice in this country? And I'm not sure about you, but a lot of us, and myself included, didn't feel a lot of elation from that verdict. That compared to the injustices that we go through on a daily basis, that this was just one example of a number of coincidences and a number of ifs. That if this didn't happen, if somebody hadn't reported it, if the DA hadn't been exposed for trying to hide her cronies and protect her cronies in the police department, if we didn't have evidence of the police coddling and hugging and calming and trying to comfort the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery, where would we be today? If we didn't have people running in the streets, if we didn't have people marching, if we didn't have people speaking up all over the world, where would we be today? So that's not justice. If anything, that just shows how fickle, if anything, that shows how arbitrary our justice system is, how arbitrary the punishment system in this country is. Our lives should not depend on a bunch of ifs and coincidences. Our lives have to depend on our humanity and our insistence on standing up. You know, like I said, I joked about it. I'm surprised to see this many black folks out here running. Most of the time, I'm sure most of you have heard this joke. If you see me running, you better run too. We laugh about that and we joke about it. But what is it about our existence that someone going for a jog is considered something funny? That doing a normal routine that we see happening all over the United States is something that we laugh about. Dave Chappelle recently, he said, and I know he said some things that I don't necessarily agree with, but he says a lot of things that I do agree with. Being black isn't as easy as it looks. It's not easy being black in this country, but it's necessary. It's not easy waking up in this country being black and standing up for black folks and having to run to be able to recognize the humanity of another human being, but it's necessary. But it's also not enough. Being black is necessary, but it's not enough. We are living through an emergency. We are not safe. We are not safe in a country where the neighborhood that you live in can lead to you being targeted by the police. We are not safe when the color of clothing that you wear or the person that you talk to can lead to you being documented as a gang member, targeted by law enforcement. We are not safe. When running can be seen as something criminal and threatening. When running can lead to you being killed, to you being hunted and murdered and lynched without any shame. We are not safe when our very existence is considered criminal. When being black is enough to cause fear in a white person, that when they see a black person running, that they're so afraid that they have to kill that person. And what we're seeing today is them testing their boundaries. Those of us who were born and raised black in this country, we know. My great-grandfather was a runaway slave. My grandfather was a union organizer and a Communist Party leader. My mother was a member of the Black Oakland chapter of the Black Panther Party. And so we know in my family, we know in our history that the existence in our humanity is not something that is a given. Our ability to live, our ability to talk, our ability to run, all of these things are contingent upon a demand for our humanity to be recognized. I told him 5 minutes. I told him 5 minutes. So I'm going to let you all get going, but it's necessary that we recognize that right now they're testing their limits. How far can we go and get away with it? How many black people can we kill and get away with it? And it used to be the police that can use fear as an excuse to kill unarmed black men, women, and children. But now we see everyday white people saying that I was afraid for my life. And because I was afraid for my life, I killed this person. And we see that being upheld in court, whether it's because of murdering our white allies who stood up and said that this is not enough, that we refuse to be silent as we watch black people and brown people be targeted by these systems, that we're going to stand up. And now their lives too can be taken away like that because somebody was afraid. And so when we talk about the fear of white folks, when we talk about the fear of black people, we have to recognize that they're not afraid of black violence. They're not afraid of black criminality. They're afraid of black hope. They're afraid of black resilience. And they're afraid of black liberation. Because those people who have built this country on the blood, sweat, toil, and backs of Africans stolen from another continent and brought here are worried and afraid that the systems that they're comfortable in are being challenged. That the systems that have led to their wealth are being challenged. That the norms that they have created are being challenged. And today, you all showing up and refusing to be cowed. You all showing up and refusing to say that it's just another day that I'm going to get up and go to work. It's just another day that I'm going to make some money and go home. It's just another day that I'm going to be a revolutionary on Instagram or buying Netflix. Have shown up and demanded that we will not be silent. We will not follow your norms, and we are going to do everything we can to uproot the system that has led to the murder of Ahmaud, that has led to the murder of Breonna Taylor, that has led to the murder of Alfred Alongo, that has led to the murder of Sergio Wick, that has led to the murder of thousands and thousands of people in this country. We will not be silent, and we will continue to fight. That, to me, is what this here is about. Challenging what they've told us that we are allowed to do and what we are not allowed to do. Challenging the systems that continue to incarcerate us. Challenging the systems that they call what is normal for us to be able to act through and not, or to act upon or not act upon. So I appreciate all of you all coming out here. I promise I will be eventually, at the very least, walking with you all. But please remember that we are not safe, that we are living in an emergency, and that it is absolutely imperative that every day we live a fight of liberation. So, wrapping things up, I'd like you all to join me in a quick chant that black, repeat after me, black, liberation, matters. Black, liberation, matters. Black, liberation, matters. My liberation matters. Yours liberation matters. Liberation matters. Liberation matters. Liberation matters. We refuse to be treated like slaves and inferior human beings in the country that we built. We will no longer stand by. We will be liberated. We will fight for our liberation. We will fight for the liberation of our allies, and we will fight for the liberation of the entire humanity. Thank you all for coming out.
Hey everybody, it's Makena. Thank you for showing up and watching Facebook Live. We're going to get ready to run or either walk, but this is a run for to honor Ahmaud. So running for Ahmaud and walking too. Peace and success. Bye-bye.